Howdy folks, good day to you. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here on this beautiful, sunshiny Florida kind of hurricane looking sort of day. And hurricanes are actually the topic of conversation. Well, hurricanes and the 2007 Chevrolet Silverado. As some of you guys have known, I'm kind of prepping this as like a backup power supply for some power inverters in case of power failure due to our weather situation. What I've been doing is planning to add a secondary alternator right in this factory location right here. The thing is these LBZ engines were capable of dual alternator support when they were found in an ambulance package or medium duty. So there's a bolt hole here, and we require another alternator and a bracket and then some wiring configuration to get a secondary alternator to up the amperage on the output of this vehicle. Additionally, I did a modification where I can select a high idle. So if I'm running the vehicle for X amount of period of time and the charging system is at full blast, I can initiate the high idle feature. Watch, I'll hit the button there. Idle goes up, and then I can operate cruise control. Watch the idle. Hit it. Idle goes up. So that's position 2 and position 3. Powering down. So the purpose of that is to get a faster crankshaft speed. So if I've got a second alternator and that first alternator is maxed out and I'm running power to large power inverters to serve as a backup power supply, I can set high idle and just get more power and more RPM out of it. Now back here in my toolbox, and this is the reason for this box being here, it's not so much for tools, but back in this section I've got 2 plastic battery boxes that will house a group 31 or a group 29 deep cycle battery. So I can run 2 batteries back here in a similar configuration to like a boat or an RV or something like that. And from those batteries I can run this 5,000 watt dirty power inverter, and I've also got a 2,000 watt sine wave inverter right there. So I can run, miscellaneous loads like fans and lights and whatnot, and sensitive electronics like a television or a radio, phone chargers, things of that nature. And all of that can be done independent of the grid based on how much fuel that I've got in the tanks here. So in an emergency power outage type of situation, I have auxiliary power somewhere stored for later use. So what I'm doing today is setting up and continuing the build out on this system right here. That way, should the need arise, I've got power. And it also serves as another function. It's good to have 110 volts and 30 amps or so of electricity if you're in a remote location. My yard is very large and I tend to be in a remote location, and on occasion it would be good to have some electricity when I don't have access to a regular power outlet. So basically the situation at hand can be a modern convenience and it can be a lifesaver in the correct circumstances. So I really see no downside to performing this modification. Now I do have one deep cycle marine battery right here. I'm just going to use this one for now, just because I do not have a set of new batteries for it. I'm not sure if I want to use lead acids, lipos, or like glass mat batteries back here for this system. But like I said, for right now, this marine battery should do. Additionally, one thing I'm going to also include in this system is a power wire setup that can tie in this bank of batteries to the vehicle's charging system and this bank of batteries, and it'll do that via a very large solenoid. Now I'm not sure where I'm going to mount this solenoid just yet, but the way this is going to work is this will mount to, let's say, the firewall. I'll have one end of one of the cables that runs back to the second bank on one side of the lug, and then on the other side it'll either go to some kind of a junction block and connect directly to the second alternator, keeping that one independent of the whole system, or I can tie that alternator into the whole system and then just make the other lug on this tie into the positive on the existing system. So I'm not sure how I want to configure it yet. There's a couple options, but what this thing will do is it's basically a very large switch operated by a very small switch. So I will attach a 2-position switch somewhere to the dashboard. I'll run the power wire out here to this terminal. When this terminal is energized and the case is grounded, it'll complete the circuit, it'll close the switch inside, and then send connection from one lug over to another lug, thus connecting the 2 electrical systems. Again, I don't know where I want to mount this. I'm not sure if I want to mount it on the vehicle system and put it up here, or if I want to mount the thing on the auxiliary system and put it back here, and then just fuse the cable going forward. I'm not sure how I wish to configure it. I will be able to isolate both electrical systems independently with the click of a switch. Now, I know some people say that that's stupid and I should just go buy a generator, but the thing is this is already a huge resource. I've got 90 gallons of fuel back here. I've got 34 gallons of fuel in the onboard tank, so let's call it 120 gallons of fuel. I can burn 3 to 4 gallons in a 12-hour period at high idle and generate up to 7,000 watts of power with that. So that's on par with an actual small size gasoline generator. And no, I'm not going to buy a diesel generator because those are like 4 times the cost. Additionally, you got to maintain that extra engine. So I'm keeping myself out of having to maintain one piece of equipment by combining existing equipment and being as resourceful as possible. So that's the reason for adding all this to a truck and not just going out and buying another generator. Plus, I don't want to put the thing in storage for half the year. I don't feel like doing that. Anyway, I would like to proceed with the install preparation and planning, and here's how I'm going to have to do this. The issue with this box is this thing is aluminum, which means I can't weld studs or anything to the inside of it to attach things. And I can't just have all this stuff flopping around all willy-nilly like, because it'll be destroyed. Plus, it's connected to a lot of electricity. I can't drill holes through it and put in self-tapping screws because I have a fuel tank on the other side. You see right here? That's all fuel tank. I do have a little bit of space in between, but I really have no space to reach and put fasteners on. Additionally, this compartment right here is sort of reserved for a home for the hose that goes to the fuel pump. Yeah, I've got a large 12-volt fuel transfer pump on the tank, so I could pump fuel out of this tank into other vehicles as well. But I don't want to drill holes into this and put screw heads sticking through it because that could damage my rubber hose. So, in fact, this is going to damage my rubber hose. It's getting pinched. Oh no. Let me fix that right now. It's my own portable diesel pump, and I like it. There we go. Now this can swing all the way up. There. Beautiful. So now that we all know what the plan is here, let's get to it. I'm going to pull all these power cables out. These are running down through a hole, through the bed, into the frame rail, and then up at that passenger side battery. We're going to pull these things out and get them out of the way. And I'm going to tuck all this in as compactly as possible. So what we need is a little bit of space to reach our latch, so that can go right about there. It gives us access to the latches. See how that fits. That one doesn't even latch. What is this piece of junk? You better latch. I'll make it latch. Anyway, I think right here is good, and then for the other side, it'll be a nearly identical configuration. Yep, right there. That's where I think I'd like to place the batteries. So what I'm going to need to do is we're going to drill some holes in the base of the battery and then use those pilot holes to drill another hole into the bottom of the toolbox, and then I can install a few rivets to secure this box. We have a 3/16 drill bit here, so I'm just going to do one right here. That's through. One right here. What I'm doing here is just scratching the surface of the aluminum. There we go. Then one more right below us. Okay. Now I've got to be super careful when I go through this because I don't want to puncture or drill into the fuel tank below. Bang! There it is. By the way, how's my audio? I have a powered microphone. It's a lapel mic. It's extra. Comment below how the audio sounds in this video versus previous videos. Bang. All right. So that's 4 holes drilled, and they are lining up. I think they better line up. I just drilled holes in my toolbox. That one goes right there. That one there. We're looking good, I think. They're all lined up. Very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna need to get a little hammer to kind of drive those rivets through. I don't have my little hammer. I'll use the medium hammer. There we go. All right, let's see how we're gonna do this. Let's go ahead and grab our box of rivets. Those are 3/16 rivets, the largest ones that I have. First, let's see if these are gonna fit through the holes I drilled. It's a tight squeeze, but they do in fact fit. Good. Okay, so I'll run one through the hole in the box, and let me find what I did. There they are, there's one, there's one. Okay, that one's through. Let's get that next one in. Not that one. I know. More drilling. I use the exact same correct size drill bit, so these have to be perfect. That one through. Is this gonna work? Numero tres. Nope. Slight misalignment between the plastic and the metal. No worries. Just wallow out the plastic some. And the other advantage, since I don't have a screw poking through to this configuration, is I won't have a bolt head that can rub on the bottom of the battery. Okay, so now we need the big rivet gun. We'll take this guy, finish off our rivets, and then we can set the battery in position here. So the way this is going to work, it's real simple. We open up the tool, we insert the end of it over the stud on the rivet. As we close the tool, it's going to grab that stud and it's going to pull on it. As the tool pulls on the stud, the ball end of it is going to try to pass its way through this hollow shaft, which is connected to the face of the rivet right there. It won't be able to fit through because the ball is larger than the shaft, so it'll expand the shaft up to a point where it cannot expand and pull through any farther, and then it'll break off. So we have a solid mechanical connection between two components. And it's semi-permanent. You have to drill them out in order to remove it. So let's get one started here. I'll show you. And we squeeze. Usually takes about 3 squeezes or 4. There we go. There's our snap, and our rivet has broken free. And this thing should fall down inside of the bottle, and we can empty it out later. So how'd that go? Looked pretty good, I think. See how we're broken off flush? And that thing is secured to the base of the toolbox. So let's get the other 3, and then we'll move on to the second box. Okay, rivet number 2. Let's get this one set up. Plug you in. Get in there. I can't get it in the hole. There we go. Couple squeezes. There we go. And our shank fell out. Let's get the next one. Slide it down. 2. Very good. And rivet number 3. Snap. Got it. Snap, crackle, pop. And that battery box is now secured semi-permanently to the base, or to the bottom of the toolbox. Incoming loud noises. I want to vacuum all that stuff out. Bear with me. Get all that nasty out of there. And the stuff in the back too. Should have got that earlier. There, now it's nice and shiny in there. Okay, I think next up, I can get this this battery down into its new home. Set you down right there. Okay, so we've got two places for connections here, one traditional clamp and one bolt style. So that that design should be accommodated without issue with these lids. There we go. I can run the wires in and under and then up. And these lids also have a vent in the top so it can't build up gases inside. All right, let's button this up so it looks good. And I'll throw, there's some base adapters, I'll throw those in the box for later. These are supposed to space things out depending on the battery selection that you've used. And we'll throw the little strap on so it's nice and tidy and secure and contained. We'll have to get back into this later to wire things up, but this should be sufficient for right now. And these little flaps on the side here don't stay flapped. These little clips, they're horrible. I don't like them. I'm gonna cut them off. They're fired. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and do this next section in super high speed lightning fast motion since we just saw it in regular speed, and then we'll go ahead and get these two big old inverters mounted somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where they're gonna go, but we're gonna figure it out. So let's get to drilling out this second box and then we'll go from there. Let's get to drilling and riveting this second box right here, and then we will go from there. I think I like it. You know what? Since I'm cutting these off, I can move this thing a lot closer. That's what we're gonna do. Goodbye, silly, useless little plastic wing clip thingies. Cut that right. Oh, it's not cutting. This is stronger than I thought. Okay. Here, flush cut, side cuts to the rescue. These will get right in there. Perfect. Kinda. Gotta cut a corner to get the next cut. It's stiffer than I thought. Insert joke now. Get it from the back side here. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Cut this thing off. Beautiful. Just like that.
Selling my
yeah, we don't
soul,
need those. Those are junk.
working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away. Drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me. People like you, wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is, living in the new world with an whole soul.
All right, got it. Check it out. Two battery box mounted. Box is mounted, one battery mounted. Let's make or figure out and work on a configuration for these power inverters. Alrighty, so I think I figured out how I'm gonna mount these inverters. I'm gonna do the power cord side where they connect. There's a positive and the negative cable. Those are gonna be pointed this way towards the passenger side. I'm gonna keep the big inverter on the bottom, and then I'm gonna mount the smaller inverter a little higher up right here at the top edge of the box. So both of them will get stacked like right here on the back side of the toolbox. So what I need to do, again, I'm gonna rivet these in. My issue is you see the little plate right there? I can't get a drill on those holes because these terminals are in the way. And they're very large terminals and I cannot disconnect them. So what I need to do is drill them somehow from the other side, or, well, I need to figure that out, don't I? I think what I need to do is get the ones drilled that I can drill and then mark the others with a Sharpie and then drill the hole. I think that's kind of my only option. So since I can't get a drill on this side, Doubly loud noises cut. Oh my God. Since I can't get the drill on that side, I'm gonna drill this side as soon as the compressor turns off. Stand by. Okay, so over here on the business side of this thing, I think I can get the drill in that position. So I don't want to leave this this unit sitting all the way on the ground, so I'm just gonna put something down there to kind of act as a spacer to hold it up and keep it level. And then I'll drill this hole and that hole. I'll insert 2 of the rivets from the outside of the box pointed in, and then with those rivets in place, I can we can measure and mock out the other side. Okay, that's for sure going to be one of the holes. That's for sure going to be one. Now we're going to go over to the other side and mark these existing holes, or the not existing holes yet. We're going to mark those with a Sharpie, and hopefully I can eyeball the drill bit on the Sharpie marks and get it all aligned properly. See that? Just like so. So now I'll pull this inverter back out and we can drill the holes. If I can see my Sharpie marks. Sure can. There's one right there. I can see them. So I will drill the holes all the way through, and then we can rivet that guy on. Let me figure out where to put you guys. Okay, this is kind of nerve-wracking because I'm going to drill a hole in the exterior of this really nice toolbox. I'm scared to ruin it. There we go. Epic fail, look at that. I'm getting pieces of plastic. I did not account for the handle. Look at that. Good thing we didn't go all the way through it. I'm hitting the plastic on that handle. That was too close and I didn't think about it. Error number 1. Error. Okay, so I now need to move this whole thing over some without ruining it again. All right, let's try this one more time. So I moved it over about an inch or so. There's always that one thing that messes you up real bad. It's the stupid latch on the other side. I can't believe I did that. Oh well, at least I didn't punch all the way through. I'll live with it. That one's through, and then this one right here. Let me double check and make sure that that thing looks level to me. It might be at an angle. I'm referencing how parallel these two lines are here. I think it's good. That looks okay. I'll deal with it. Measure 0 times and drill 6 times. Perfect. Okay, so from the outside, let's push our rivet through. There's one and there's one. And then we'll push it through the holes that I drilled in the plate for the inverter. See that? Okay, so now here on the outside, we'll take our gun and we will rivet those rivets and secure this this one side. Get out of there, of the inverter. Take this guy, stick it in right there, all the way down and flush, and then on the inside we'll go ahead and actuate it and squeeze this rivet. Now this right here, this is going to be a really never before witnessed kind of thing. Most people don't see what happens when a rivet starts to collapse and squeeze in on itself. Watch this. Squeeze number 2. Oop. Stay. Been having that. See how it's pulling in? Booyah. Another. Let's get the bottom one. flashlight. There we go. So 2 of those rivets are now riveted. That one's through. Good. Push our rivet through our newfound hole here. And on the other side, that looks good. Push that guy through. And we'll start our squeezes here. Go ahead and hold this guy in. Uh-oh. There. Couple more squeezes. It's starting to clamp down. Booyah. There we go. Next hole. By the way, if these rivets fail, I can drill them out and then just put in some nuts and bolts. I believe the rivets will be fine for now. If they're not, figure it out. That rivet failed. See that? Okay, I had to stop and pause and fix the gun here. It had a shaft or a piece of a rivet shank stuck inside of it. There we go. Okay, that thing's on there. Feels pretty solid. Again, if it wants to come off, then or if the rivets break or whatever, if they pull through, I'll just switch them out to nuts and bolts. The outside doesn't look horrible. I can hit that with a little bit of black spray paint. You'll never even notice it. And even if you do notice it, it's rivets in the side of a toolbox. So that's fine. This guy's now installed. Okay, so I need 2 additional holes in what is gonna be the top of this inverter. That way I can fit a rivet or a self-tapping screw through the hole. So let me go ahead and slip that off and break it. How's my drill? Oh, there's a piece of aluminum stuck in the end of my drill bit. That was weird. All right. Anyway, let's get these little holes drilled. Good. That fits. Next one, right here. Right on the very, very edge. There we go. Okay, so I'll do 2 self-tapping screws on the top, and then I'll have to do rivets on the bottom so it looks good from the outside. Okie dokie, so this is roughly the position this is gonna be in. We're gonna raise it up ever so slightly, and I'm gonna line this hole up that we just drilled with this little section right here. This is it's an extra piece of steel to add some rigidity to the outside of the structure. There's nothing behind it, so I should be able to run a self-tapping screw into that hole and use this to mount this power inverter here. I do want to get it down as far as possible, so we're gonna go for, I should probably just mark it with the pen. Let's do that first. It's gonna go right here. And that's the spot for our self-tapping screw. I can't rivet this. I don't have the space to get a rivet in the area right here on the inverter. Can't get a rivet gun in there. And I don't want to rivet it from the outside. Not this one. So we got to do it this way. Let's see here. You can't see the mark, but I can. Sorry. That's our hole. We back it out. Come out, self-tapper. Now, take that same screw, put it in the hole right there that we just made in the inverter. right, I'm thinking right here. Kick. All right, that one's in. Let's do the same thing over on the other side with one of the other self-tappers. Then we can do loud noises. Troy, what are you doing? And then we can do the rivets on the bottom side. That's what I was saying. And again, I didn't use self-tapping screws all the way through because some of these are gonna poke through to the outside, and that would look horrible if I had screw heads sticking out from the inside of my toolbox. Which is actually really not a toolbox. It's more like a power generator. It's this new thing. Does that look good? Sure. Secured. Good. Actually, I wonder if I could run self-tappers through this. No, I can't, because that goes through to the exterior. Let me show you. See how it's got this piece sticking out? That is this indentation right here. So I have to use a rivet on that. I eyeballed it from right here to right here. Oh, I eyeballed correctly. And the survey says, sure did. Now I just need to punch through the base plate on the inverter. Keep on drilling. Yep, it's coming through. It's coming. Full speed. Got it. Okay, another rivet from the front side and going through, and that one's going right there. That's nice. Okay, let's go ahead and tighten this one down. The gun is on the stud. Give it some squeezes. Excellent. So that one's in. That's secure on 3 positions. Let's get that rivet number 4 set up. So we're gonna do it at this level, right about, where's our mark at? Somewhere right in here, probably right there where I'm pointed. Let me get that one eyeballed and measured properly, and we'll drill that hole next. I think this is the spot. It's roughly the same height as the other side, and if I eyeball it straight down, it's coming into contact with the bracket. That's through, good alignment. Full speed ahead. Got it. Oh no, my lumens. They're powering back on. I plugged it in. Love it. Battery powered light. You gotta plug back in. Anyway, there's our last rivet. Let's get this one tight. Solid. Good to go. That's nice. Check it out. So I got both inverters connected. Power supply wires are pointed that way. The outputs are this way. There's a switch. That one's got a switch, and we've got 6,000 and 2,000 peak power. So we need roughly that's 3,000 and 1,000 watts of continuous power deliverable. That's enough to run 1 AC unit, a fridge, some lights, and a fan. Here, I actually removed that screw in order to get the space necessary to get to that screw. So let's just put that back so I don't forget it and lose it forever. That's the little guard for the electric fan to cool the internals of the unit. Speaking of fans, I will probably also wire up some kind of external fan assembly here to blow air over these. Additionally, I will cut holes in this and put some vents in it, so there'll be like an intake fan plus a vent that goes out, and a fan that will go on these just to keep airflow on them. So when this system is running, if the box is closed, it'll still have airflow through it to keep things cool. Thought of that too. Alrighty, next item. There's actually supposed to be 2 of these units. but the other one has not arrived yet. These are heavy-duty bus bars. It's a marine application. I ordered 2 of these boxes. So there's a red one for our powers and a green, or a black one for our grounds. And it's basically just a mountable bus bar. You connect one wire into it, and then you can connect, like let's say I've got my feed ground coming in from the other batteries. I can then ground this battery, and these inverters to these other buses and organize or other poles rather, and then organize all the wires inside of this nice little case right here. So like I said, I ordered 2 of these. The red one is not here, but I can still mount the black one. And I think I'm just gonna mount these guys right here to the side of the case. We'll put one there, and then we'll put the other one like right there. So I'll have the red one and the black one, and then all the wires that come up will bolt to the bottom of these guys, and they'll all be nice and organized and tucked away. So what I'll do is I'll just run self-tapping screws through the side of the box here to secure those bus bars to the interior of the box. And if we look over here, I've got some space, and there's really no danger of damage or injury because the screws are just going to pop through somewhere on that side. So let's get this one kind of disassembled, which I've already taken the screws off, but we're going to mount these, gravity, just below this little weld line right here, because that's the little step up in the box. Loud. So I'll mount one here, and then I'll mount the other one right next to it, like so. So here's what I'm thinking. If I put one of them here, then the other one can go right there. It'll leave a little bit of space between the two in case I need to run a wire through. There will be space on the back side in case I need to run some wires through, and there's some space on the other side here in case I need to run some wires through. So I think that's a good position to start with for one of these boxes. Let me just grab one of our screws here, and I'll get that thing drilled in and tight, and then we'll get the other 3. Let's start right there. Self-tapping screws are great. That's good. I'm pretty much eyeballing this, but I think I can get it close because I got things to square off to. Yeah, that's good right there, I think. Oh, I don't have space for hands. How am I gonna do this? I'll do it like this. Inverted impact gun. Is that good? Still look good? Can't tell. Yeah, that's fine. Good enough. Okay, that one's secure-ish. Let's run 2 more in just to be thorough here. That one. Last one right here. Gravity. Another last one right here. There. So now I can run wires into that, knock out these punch outs right here, and then I can cover up all the connections with our little cover right here. I think that looks good. Looks real good. Alrighty, so I'd like to get a couple of these wires connected. I have a whole boatload of random battery wires sitting around, so I'm going to use all these up as best I can. So one of these is going to be dedicated just for the ground wire on the big inverter. So let's see, that one fits best. So we'll make this side right here the side on the lug. I don't need to fuse the grounds, so that will not be a major issue here. Here, let's throw a washer over that. That hole was a little bit big, and I just don't want the bolt to like pass through the center of that hole. See if this one threads on. Nope. I had a random nylock nut sitting there, but I'll just use the one that came with it. Okay, so here's ground connection number 1 to our bus bar. This is going to go to the big inverter. Then I can run one more from the little inverter, or to the little inverter, one up front, and then one to this battery bank in the back. Let's tighten this guy down. Nice. And kickage. Okay. So the end of this wire is now just going to run downwards and back, and it's going to meet the negative connector on our inverter right there. I don't think I like that turn. That's not okay. Now we're going to do that. We're going to do it like probably 90 degrees. Come here. Yeah, we're going to do it 90 degrees somehow, some way. That way the cable does not obstruct the fans. Yeah, we'll do it like that. That's good. We can just take our little cap here. Actually, I'm going to put a washer behind that. Let's try it like that. Do I have enough thread? Let's see. I think so. Let's tighten that down some. I don't know if that's enough thread. It's not. That will vibrate loose. So we're going to lose that washer and just put the little cap nut thing on. And I'll use the battery lug to help me tighten this down. Just give it a twist. There. You know what? I want just a little bit more on that. There. Now it's tight. Good. And I'll just take this this cable and tuck that back against the corner there. That's nice and secure. So that's one ground wire connected. Let's do the ground wire for the small inverter next. Alrighty, so it looks like I've got a piece that's already got eyelets on the end of it. I think this is a 4-gauge wire. This one should be sufficient to, let's see if I can fit that in there. This one should be sufficient to power this small 1,000 or the 2,000 watt inverter. So let's see. Let's get that guy over. That's perfect, just like that. And let's get a screw on there, or a nut. I'm looking around for a washer to sandwich in there while we're at it. Okay, let's take that back off. I don't have a flat washer that'll fit, but I do have this little lock washer. It's better than nothing. So let's get this guy on and tighten down. And I'm going to run this wire kind of tucked in behind this little plastic thing right here, and then that thing should, or it will, what it's going to do is it's going to come through down here, gravity, run through here and then come out and loop around and then reconnect. So I'm trying to use the shortest runs of wire possible, that way you don't lose power in the transfer. It'll help to make the system more efficient. That's kind of the goal here. So that's tucked under right here. We're going to run it through under here, and then right here in the corner I can come down and loop and connect. And what I'll do is I'll slide this one behind our big one. We'll use that big wire to hang on to it, and that can loop in right here. Come here. There we go. Lock washer back on. Let's tighten this guy down, then both of these inverters will be grounded to our new bus bar. There we go. Let's make it nice and tight like. I have to put a terminal end on the negative side of the big cable that runs forward into the engine compartment. There we go, that one's tight. So this cable's fairly secure, it's not going anywhere, so that's that ground. This one needs a cable end attached to it. I don't know if I want to cut this off or just put the end on it here and then pull the rest of it through later. I think I'll put the end on and then just pull this through later on. I'd rather not cut this off in case I'm too short under the hood. So I've got a fresh new lug here. I'm going to go ahead and strip the end of this wire just enough to fill that lug, and then we can get the crimp tool set up and crimp in this wire connector end. And once this thing's crimped on and heat shrinked, we can bolt that to our bus bar and get that thing tightened down. There we go. Come off of there, you. Please. There we go. Got it. Very fine stranded. Holy smokes. Look at that. Super fine. Plug this guy in like so. Shove it in there. And let me bust out the crimping tool. So this thing's pretty interesting. It's a little hydraulic ram with, it's got a little squeeze lever on it. And as we tighten it down and we pump the ram lever, it's going to run the ram out. Now on the other side here, on the business end, we've got these dies. They're going to go in to this little, into the end of the tool here. See that right there? So what we can do is we'll take our cable end and we'll feed it through. See that? And we can tighten down and press in on these dies, and it's going to put the appropriate crimp in this cable lug. Tightening it down, watch this. Let's get it just right. Let's get it centered properly. Rotate you so you're in where we want you, right there. We'll go ahead and squeeze it and crimp this down on our cable end right here. Just send it till it's done. I feel it. It's smashing. It's crimping. There we go. Let it loose, and a little bit too tight, but you get the point. We now have a cable lug on the end of our wire here. A little bit of heat shrink, and that's all set up and good to go. Okay, cable's good. Heat shrink's coming in. I put a second crimp on that to smash that little flare down. And let's get some torch action on this. And we'll shrink her down and then get this other cable end right here bolted on. Now again, all of this is safe because none of this is connected to the battery positive just yet. So I'm not at risk of arcing something out or burning the truck down or nothing like that. It's just ground cables. I think that's about it. We're as shrunk as heat shrunk is gonna get. This is good. Let's go ahead and bolt this thing to our bus bar next. Hot. All right, so moving back in. Again, I'm going to pull the rest of this through from the other side and from the bottom just to get rid of all the extra slack that's here. But for now, and for mock-up purposes, this is just fine. We can leave this here. Gravity. So this one, what do you think? Should I put it here since it's closer, or here? I'm gonna put it here. That way the batteries can connect right here. That's where where it's gonna go. I have decided, let's throw a washer over it just for fun. Put our lock washer over it because it came with it. And then we'll spin this one down and get it tight. Where's me wrench? I think it fell, didn't it? I heard it in here. No, not that one. No. 13 has disappeared. It did fall. I see it back there. Gotcha. Okay, let's get this one tight next. So that's going to leave us with only the negative battery cable to be connected here. Kickage. So now this, we can tuck it back into the corner like the rest of them, and then we'll pull the rest through and up into the cabin. I'll do that later, but ultimately it's going to get tucked away. Get out of here, screws. It'll be tucked away very neatly and nicely and run along that corner like so. That's how it's gonna look when it's finalized. Not like that. But for now, I'm just gonna shove the rest of that down in that little corner right there, and it's now out of sight and out of mind. Woohoo. So I do have one pre-made cable that will serve to be a good battery cable ground. Kind of. The end of it is actually for a positive cable, so it sits a little bit loose on that terminal right there. So what I can do is I can either cut it off and then bolt it on, or I can put a shim on this and just make this this terminal a little larger so it fits better. Or or I could just change that out with a negative side terminal. And the reason that doesn't fit so well is the positive terminals are slightly larger than the negative terminals. For this application, it's not a huge issue, but it's not something I'm going to leave as a permanent kind of thing. I don't like those battery shims. They tend to work free and become loose. And since this is like a high vibration atmosphere, it could very easily do that. Regardless, here's our last one. It's our last cable. Oh, additionally, if I need to connect any other grounds, I can always just layer them and sandwich them into this bus bar. So I have nearly infinite amount of grounding capability with these components here that I've chosen. I found them on eBay if anybody wants one. They say that they're suitable for marine purposes, and I think rated to like 300 amps, which is cool. So anyway, that can plug in right there. It's got reliefs in the lids so the cable can come out, and there's a little connector here in case I want to add another ground wire for something. I don't need that right now, so I'll just tuck that back inside. There, that's pretty much how she's going to sit. So let's go ahead and knock out two of these knockouts right here. We can put the cover loud. We'll put the cover back on these cables. Now these should just crack and break. They've been etched already. Yeah, that's real easy. They come right out. Yep, they crack and break right off, no problem. So now, let's take this guy, grab the screws. We have no more need to be under that box for now, so let's plug this thing in. Slight problem, I need to angle these wires because that centerpiece doesn't fit. See that? Oh no, custom work requires custom solutions. So we'll take that one and point it that way. Take this one, point it that way. That'll fit. I hope it fits. It had better fit, or I'll have to cut plastic out of my lid. Click. I don't want to. You stay there. There we go. Does it fit now? Close. Yes. Gravity. And that's how she fits. Like so. Okay, so I've got 4 screws that screw this cover on. Let's get the hard one first. Screw that guy in. Did it take? Yes. Next one over in the corner. Get in there. There we go. 3 and numero 4. That one's threading. Good. Good, good, good. Okay, so that's pretty much the ground. Those are all the ground buses that need to be here. And then the next box, when it arrives, I'm going to mount it right here. And that'll be all of our positives. Once that's done, I can run the positive cables. I can get the second battery, connect the batteries, and then run the positives to here. And then once that's done, it'll at least be able to operate, and I'll have to hook up the other side to get the 2 charging systems connected, or the 2 battery banks connected rather. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna go ahead, get the tools cleaned out of this thing, and I'm gonna pack it up for the day. I think I've done enough damage so far. I've got most of the large components already mounted. They're halfway wired. The rest of it's going to be some tricky and intricate electrical stuff. I've got some solenoids to connect. I've got some fuses. I've got some breakers. And then once all that's done, I need to cut a hole somewhere in this box and mount an outdoor type receptacle, and then wire the 120 volt side to that receptacle, because I don't want to run cables through the box and then close the lid. So I just want to have a plug that passes through this box right here. Maybe I'll do them here, maybe I'll do them down here. I'm not really certain where I'm going to do that yet, but I will run a pass-through set of receptacles for this thing as well. So all that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. I've got to pack up all my toys and mess and tools and whatnot and get this stuff put away. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. The sun is low. The shadows are long. It's bright over there. Yeah, it's in today. I'm out of here. It's Sunday, so I'm actually here on a day off to do a day off project. I got to go home, get some rest, because we're coming back to a full shop tomorrow morning. So, and as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think about this project in the comment section down below. If you like this project, don't forget that like button also down below. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later. End of video, end of auxiliary power plant, end of transmission, end of weekend, end of day.